I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello everybody, welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Love it when I'm right. England 3, Wales 0. Demolition job by Marcus Rashford. 100 up for him. Excellent performance. But I will talk about that shortly. To my right is the American who is gone through the mill over the last hour. Lucas, how are you, man?
Oh, I'm absolutely elated after getting through to the knockout rounds. My God, that match was just it had literally everything you could think of. But in the end, just happy to be staying a bit longer in Qatar, playing a bit more football. It's a good day. It's a good day to be American.
Yeah. For me, listen, I always said that USA will get through. They've got the better quality players. I done it on the betting show. Anyone who followed me on the betting show, I turned around and said either money shot for USA to get out the group was stealing money, in my opinion, and I have stole money tonight. But we will talk about England first. England 3. Oh, no, wrong one. England 0. I actually done that round the wrong way round. England 3. Wales 0. There you go. I got there in the end. Lucas, England, talk to me. Best team in it for you?
Right now?
Yeah.
They're, in my opinion, I think they're right there. I was telling my dad and mom earlier, who I was watching it with, that England is such a weird squad because in terms of players and talent, I think England first or second best when it comes to players and talent. It's always just been, can they put it together and can Southgate be the one to just make it mold?
Yeah.
But I think they're right there with Brazil in my opinion. I wouldn't mind throwing a little punt on England to bring it home, but yeah, I would say easily top 3 best teams left for sure.
I'll be honest with you. First half, England, I thought it was shit. First half.
I didn't see any of the match, obviously, because it was both going on at the same time.
You was watching the US. But for me, I thought it was poor in the first half. We had chances, but we
was it 0-0 at half?
Yeah, it was 0-0, yeah. Sideways and back FC all over again. And second half, obviously Southgate said to him, play the ball faster and forward. And before you know where we are, we're 2-0 up. I thought second half, I'll make this pretty short and sweet, and then we'll talk about the US. I thought second half, we destroyed Wales. Literally come out, Marcus Rashford scored a great free kick. Phil Foden, which is bittersweet for me tonight because I won on a bet. I had Foden to have a shot on target and Rashford to have 2 shots on target. I won on that bet, but I did have Foden to score first. I didn't have Rashford to score first, which was an absolute killer, mate. Honestly, actually done me up in the pub. But second goal, Foden gets to the back stick, scores, and then Rashford gets his second. It was like a friendly game, but it just didn't feel like there was nothing really on it. And then second half we come out and then we just showed what we were all about, really. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, Marcus Rashford, fair play to him, mate. 100 up for him. Excellent. He's pushing for a starting base in the England side. I will say that. And thoroughly deserves it. I will say that. Let's talk about your lot. I did get that result right. Iran 0, USA 1. Pulisic scores the winner. Lucas, take it away.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the game just had everything you could think of, and this is like one of those matches where it's politically driven, football in general, just religion, values, morals. It had everything on and off the pitch, and today. It was a very nervy match because coming into today, Iran just needed to draw and they get through. But we all know, like, Iran are decent, but they're not decent enough to just park the bus and pass the ball around. If they're going to park the bus, they're just going to hoof it forward every time, which is what they were doing. And they came close a few times because, to be fair, Taremi and then the other guy that plays for Leverkusen, I can't pronounce his last name, both two very good players. And, I mean, when you huff the ball forward to either one of them, and they got the other one just running through, they just literally have to make one pass, and they could be up. But, yeah, it was very nervy. We should have scored. In my opinion, this definitely should have been about a 3-0, 3-1, because Taremi had some good chances around and in itself had good chances, but we fluffed not a lot of good chances, but a good few. Tim Weah had a ball. It deflected, went all the way in the air, just drops right down in front of him. Instead of taking a touch or hitting it on the volley, he tries to head the ball from like 8 yards out, goes safely into the keeper's hands. Then Tim Weah had a good half chance that he soared over the bar, but put some real venom on it. Tim Weah today should have easily had a goal and assist. He was a bit mediocre, but yeah.
Who was USA's best player for you today?
In my opinion, Sergiño Dest, man of the match. He was absolutely unreal today.
You don't play for Barcelona, shit. I don't care who it is.
It was him and Pulisic that I was really looking to have a good match, because Christian Pulisic hasn't played well up till today, and sadly he got hurt. Not a bad injury, but he got absolutely leathered for his goal.
Yeah.
So he's got an abdominal injury. He's at the hospital right now, so hopefully he'll be good for Saturday. But Sergiño Dest, I mean, the boy is a talent, and he's obviously not like your traditional right back. He's more of a winger that is a decent defender, but what he offers is it's what we need. We don't have a lot of ball carriers in this side, and he's a decent passer, good dribbler, pacey, creative, and today he really came out and showed what we should all be expecting from him. And yeah, to be honest, we had a lot of good players today, just like the Wales match. A lot of players were high 7s and 8s. They just played really well. Like our midfield three, again, outstanding today. And then towards the end, Musa died down a little bit. He almost cost us a few times, but yeah, overall I'm very happy with the boys, and I was very excited to see Cameron Carter-Vickers start tonight, and he was an easy 8 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic.
Who did he start for? Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, and yeah. I tweeted today, and I stick to it. He made Walker Zimmerman look like a pub league player. Like the difference in quality from Carter-Vickers to MLS Walker Zimmerman is just so far ahead. Like you watch football, you can easily tell the way a player receives the ball and distributes it. Like you know. And like just Cameron Carter-Vickers, in my opinion, I said this to you before, I would have started him from minute one, like the first group match. You just can't have a European center half who's played for Celtic, Spurs, who's played in the Champions League, Europa League. You can't have him sitting on the bench. Like he doesn't sit on the bench for Celtic in those matches he plays.
MLS player playing at the World Cup. No disrespect to the MLS, but if you got a European standard, the reason why USA are through to the next round because they got European players.
Yeah, and to be fair, like. And it's not just me like ragging on the MLS, because I personally love the MLS, especially gambling the MLS. It's like some of the funnest entertainment possible. And the league itself has come a very, very long way. But Shaq Moore, Nashville right back, Walker Zimmerman, Nashville SC center half, two of our not so great players. And then we'll get into it probably a little bit more, but there is a guy that I absolutely cannot stand who plays for America. I don't know why he gets on the pitch. He's one of the worst players I've ever seen. I can't stand watching
him. Listen, I'm just going to go back quickly to get this thumbnail that I did put up, which was wrong. That is the right one. I will say that. Listen, before I go to the US, I was going to say it's about England. We've got to stop the sort of sideways and back FC. Like we were playing like West Ham in the first half. We was. Second half, we was a lot better. Completely a lot better. Faster, more fluent, running at them. I'm not going to get carried away by this because Senegal are next, and Senegal are no mugs. Right? They've got some good players in their side. But if England turn up, they should do the job at the end of the day. For me, man of the match for me today, I did like Foden. I really did. I thought Foden was excellent today. But Marcus Rashford's free kick, and if that boy turns up, he's a quality player. But he turns up in spells. He doesn't turn up in all the time. And do you know what? He's banging on Gareth Southgate's door, mate. 100%. Saka, for how good Saka was in the first game, second game he wasn't all that. This game, Rashford's turned up. He scored 2 goals. He's got a massive headache there.
I've been, and obviously I'm not an England supporter by any means, but I do like watching England play, and I am obviously invested as a West Ham supporter. But I was always in the Foden boat. He should have always been starting.
Declan was good tonight and all.
Either on the wing or in the hole. Foden should be playing over Mount.
Yeah, I do agree with Epic Hash Time. You can't read too much into it because Wales were playing like a pub side.
I thought you were going to say Wales are a pub side because they are. They stink.
But Bellingham, for me, I just love that geezer, mate. At 19 years old, listen, when I was 9, I was out on the piss, mate. This geezer's playing for England, and it's mad. 4 years ago, 2018, he was in school watching England. That's mad. So in 4 years' time, we'd have another gem coming out.
Again, and that's why, just from the U.S. perspective, a draw against England, it means a lot to me because it just shows how far we've come. Because England, literally what you're talking about right now, England have, in my opinion, in the World Cup, the best prospects and arguably the best talent in the world. And the fact that, I know a lot of people were taking the piss. They were joking about, America's celebrating a draw like it's a win. We're not, because we're supposed to lose. We're supposed to lose. We don't have the talent, but that's why the draw means much to me. And then obviously today, just a huge, huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I couldn't be more proud.
Listen. I said this on the betting show, right? I said the USA had the better quality of player than Iran and Wales. Wales rely on 2 players. If they don't turn up, their team's pretty bad, in my opinion. I look at the US, and listen, it wasn't nothing like I'm blowing smoke up at USA's arse because you're an American. I'm saying it from a realistic point of view. I'm looking at their players. I'm thinking McKennie plays for Juventus, Disc plays for Barcelona, Pulisic plays for Chelsea. These are good players. Even Musa, who plays for Valencia in Spain. These are no mugs. And
he turned 20 years young today. What a great present.
Even though he's from Barking, I will say that, but via the
born in New York, technically,
he was born in New York. He was born in New York. I know that. And listen, I always said it. I always said that USA will get through out of this group, and
that's
you deserve
another
it
thing.
in a way, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I do kind of like about the World Cup. It is interesting to see where all these players are playing, where they come from, and who they decide to represent. I really do think that's what makes the World Cup so great. Like seeing Musiala playing for Germany, he's full-blown English. Seeing Saka playing for England, could have played for Nigeria. It's just so many. And then America, USA is like the hotbed for that. Anthony Robinson, English.
But I will say one thing though, Lucas. I will say one thing. It does say a lot about the European leagues because if these players play in the European leagues, in my opinion, I look at it like this: they're in top leagues all around Europe. No disrespect to the MLS, no disrespect to any other leagues outside of Europe, but Europe is the hotbed for quality. And if you're playing in there, then you've got to be good at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like I've told you before, I bang on the drum for Carter Vickers to start, Brendan Aronson, Giovanni Reina. Tim Ream as well. Tim Ream was literally on the cusp of not going to the World Cup, and he has, in my opinion, been our best and most consistent player, right next to Tyler Adams. So,
who's the one that you dislike?
Haji Wright. If he plays for America again, it's an absolute travesty. He is one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. He is doing well in Turkey, but I mean, for fuck's sake, he is so bad. He literally almost had an Antonio moment. You watched the end of the game. He literally got the ball on a counterattack, and all he had to do is go to the corner. And he tries to play the ball back for a second goal. And mind you, there is literally like 45 seconds left going into the last minute of stoppage time. And I was in front of my TV. I absolutely leathered the guy. Like he would have fought me if we were in person. I said what I said. I was enraged. But of course, I'm happy we got there. But my God, like, and it was just a whole mix of just stuff going on. Like I said, Yunus Musa again had another good match, but towards the end, he lost concentration. He started making a lot of mistakes. And Haji, right? He just is technically not there. He's not a good player. He's just a big lump. He could he's got the touch of a boulder. Just he stinks. And the only reason he plays is because he's 6'4", and he's lazy. Oh my gosh, we literally bring him on to press up top, and he's just strolling around. Like, mate, you're playing for America. You're playing in the World Cup. If you can't get up for a World Cup match, how can you continue to play the sport?
I agree, mate.
It's disgusting.
What do you reckon now in regards of the next game? Because I'm gonna speak you through it first. Right, we'll go England Senegal first. For me, I think this ain't going to be as easy as everyone thinks, because they are a well-oiled.
I think it's going to be a very good match, and obviously I do think England should win, and I think they will win. But I'm telling you, like, there's something about the African nations when they just when they defend for their lives and they get on that counterattack, just magic happens. Yeah. Like they're like in African nations, they're so like, I feel like every African team that plays in the World Cup, they're just so they all are on the same wavelength. They know what it means. They have the same mission. There's no egos. They all just get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. They understand the moment and what it means to the whole country. As you do, there's other nations that have players that like they really could give a toss if it's a World Cup. They're there really. Yeah, they're representing their country, but they're really just kind of like playing for themselves almost. Like I've dreamed of playing in a World Cup. They don't say I've dreamed of playing for my nation in a World Cup. I will say this. I agree. Everything you were just saying there.
I look at it like this with the England-Senegal game. I think it's just a case of breaking this team down. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say on that. I think they're going to play on the counter up. I think we've got the speed to deal with that. I'll give you a prediction now. I think it's going to be a 2-0 England win. I think England will get this done and get through to the next round. I don't think this is going to be like a USA all over again, like where England don't score. I think England will wear this team down, move them about, consistently move this team all over the place. And in the end, I think they will break down Senegal and get the win. I watched Senegal against, who did I watch them against? Ecuador. It was okay, but they got the job done.
Yeah. Feel bad for Ecuador. Decent side. Yeah. And Enner Valencia. I've dubbed him the international gunman.
I know, but to win your first game, draw your second game, and then lose and then go out was just, it was cruel.
It's painful.
Obviously, Mark says here, Mane will be a huge miss for them. He is, but they've got Koulibaly in there. They got Mendy in there.
The defense is stout, and their midfield is, it's no pushover, but it's doable to break down. Like Senegal have sort of the, like, obviously I think the USA have a better midfield, but they kind of have the same identity where like they're a very athletic midfield. They're going to be able to run for days, but technically they're not that great. But
I think they're going to play on the counter, mate.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and England is going to have to do the one thing they don't want to do, which is try to score out of possession, because just like West Ham, we just seem to not score when the other team wants us to have the ball.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
gonna go. It's gonna be tough because I don't want to go. I think 2-0 is appropriate because I do think England will go up one, and then obviously Senegal are gonna have to push. I think England will will bag a late one just to seal things off. So I'm going to agree 2-0.
Yeah, I just think 2-0's on the cards in this one. I'll be very, very surprised if England go out and put 3 or 4 past this team. I really do, especially with Koulibaly at the back. I think Ismail Sarr for them is going to be a danger man. They're going to try and hit the balls over the top.
Mendy in goal as well.
Yeah, Mendy's in goal, so he's going to try and do something. So, yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 England win on that. Right, we're coming to your boys. Let's have a look. Where is it? We're coming to this one. Netherlands versus the US of
Very, very, very interesting and an enticing matchup. Very.
Do you want me to be honest with you? I'll go first, and then I hope you might be surprised. I actually think this is a draw, this game, and I actually think it could go to penalties.
I do as well, and I'll be honest with you. And my American hat is fully on. My goggles are on. But at the same time, I'm keeping it realistic. I do expect us... Well, I mean, it comes with the territory. As a USA fan, me personally, I don't get too overwhelmed with, like, just how I am as an American. I don't get too patriotic just because we beat so-and-so. Like, I look at it through my footballing lens. And... I'm not going to get my hopes up because we could easily lose. If I had to put money on it, personally, I would say we do lose. We don't advance. But if there was a team to go up against in the knockout stages for us, this is the team. Because Netherlands have looked incredibly underwhelming. And they're just not as good as advertised. Like, don't get me wrong.
That first game they played, I can't remember they played. I think they played Senegal. I think I looked at them and I thought, you look bang average.
Mate, they kind of obviously, if we're being real, they are better than the USA.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to the players, really, they got De Jong, obviously world class. Van Dijk, world class. Gakpo is on absolute fire, and he's looking to be the next one up in the world of players. But I mean, besides that, like when I break it down from attack, midfield, and defense, I think we can hang with them. I think we can bang with them. The midfield, I think it will be just like the England match where if they run two in the midfield and we run 3, I think we're going to win that battle in the midfield. The defense, if Carter Vickers plays, and not Walker Zimmerman, I think we have a decent chance against Gakpo because Carter Vickers has decent pace and he's strong. He looks like a freaking rugby player. The biggest thighs I've ever seen. Bigger than Antonio's. Unreal. And then Tim Ream's just been super reliable, and Anthony Robinson has been almost an unsung hero. He's been fantastic for us. And obviously the attack, we are not the best at scoring goals. We're not, and I don't even want to say we're not the most creative because we do have some very creative players. Like I'm going to keep banging on the Brendan Aronson drum. He is such a talent. He's such a good player. And we haven't even seen, in my opinion, the best player on the U.S. men's roster play in Giovanni Reyna. We haven't even seen him play.
I will say, who's impressed me massively, and for Leeds, I looked at him and I thought, fuck me, you don't really do a lot, is Adams.
Yeah.
Tyler Adams, for me, has been USA's best player. Every game I've watched of USA, he's looked absolutely superb.
Him and Tim Ream easily 1A, 1B are best players. For me, it's either been him or Ream, man of the match. Unless even tonight, you could have easily given it to Adams, Ream, Dest. And honestly, Brendan Aronson was that good off the bench that he could have been man of the match. He had like 2 nutmegs. And as much as I hate talking about that kind of stuff, like he just created so much. He came in for Pulisic after the injury, but Brendan Aronson, absolute baller. Tyler Adams, just his work rate, his dedication. He is, I mean, this man took the captaincy off Pulisic. That says a lot. And I'm not saying Christian Pulisic is a bad captain because I don't think he is, but Tyler Adams, he has that panache. He has that something about him. If you're able to take the captaincy off of Captain America, so-called,
Yeah.
you've got to have something about you.
100%. 100%. Listen, I will go first. I think this is a nailed-on draw. I really do. I think this goes all the way to penalties, and I actually think Netherlands will do you on penalties. If you want me to be honest, I think it's. Yeah. I think the goalkeeper side of things. I think the experience of Holland will push them just over the line. Yeah. But I don't think Hughes will get smashed in this game. I actually think Hughes will give them a good game. It wouldn't surprise me if there's goals in this game, like 1 or 2 or something like that.
If we bowed out on penalties as a U.S. men's supporter, I really wouldn't be that mad because honestly, I've told you from the start. For me, of course, I'd want to go as far as possible, but like this World Cup for me is about respect from the rest of the world, and it says a lot when Iran's coach. I think he's Mexican. I don't know if he's Mexican or Spanish. He actually used to work for USA Soccer, but he said, and it really filled my heart with joy. He said it's starting to turn from a soccer nation to a football nation, and that really touched me.
People are saying that Holland ain't very good on penalties, which is a good point. Amared says 2-1 to the USA. Maybe I'm looking at it from a sort of betting aspect. I'm looking at Holland, I'm thinking Holland have got the better players. They've been more experienced.
Like I said, I would not be mad if we bowed out on penalties because making it this far is already a win for us. If we got to where we are right now, that's what I wanted to do. I want some respect put on this nation for our footballing talent.
Listen, I said it on the betting show. Anyone who followed me on the betting show, and I'm 2 more away from copying on that and all. I said that USA in this group would get out of this group. They're better than Wales. They're better than Iran. I didn't think they would beat England, but I didn't say that that it wouldn't lose to England. I just didn't think USA had the ability to beat England. And I just look at it that Holland will be a tough test. I think it's all about your attackers against Holland. If you can deal with Van Dijk and get round Van Dijk, then you might be all right. You know what I'm saying?
And it is, and like I said, this is, if there was ever a matchup that I wanted, it'd be this one because I'm looking at the lineup right now. Obviously, Depay, good player. I don't think he's ever been world class, and he is a bit on the down. Gakpo, rising star, soon to be world class. Klaassen, he's always been a decent player, good player. But then everyone else, like when you look at the midfield, De Jong, obviously world class. Blind, all right. De Roon, solid player. Dumfries, solid player. And then the back, Van Dijk, Ake, Timber, solid players. But the way I look at it, when we went against England, we went against 2 world-class midfielders. We drew 0-0. We held our own, and we were the better midfield. So in theory, when you're talking numbers, we should be able to hold our own in that midfield.
Yeah.
But obviously,
the
defense is going to be tough to break down because, I mean, Ake, I've always rated Nathan Ake. He's no slouch. Van Dijk,
one thing I will say, Lucas, is that you set up to hit him on the break.
Of course,
that's what I think. Yeah, I think you're going to set up the way.
I would hope.
Yeah, but listen, Timothy Weah, you got some fast players in there. Like Pulisic is no mug. If balls are going flying over the top, it wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, if you play right up front, I wouldn't like to be in your asset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 100%. So, right, Lucas, give me a prediction for USA Netherlands. What's your heart saying? What's your head saying? Talk to me.
I think I'm pretty good at putting both into one and being logical and real and not over the top. So I do think with our expected lineup and who's going to play and who Netherlands typically start, I think it's going to end 1-1 in full time. And I think we have got the impact players off the bench in Brendan Aronson, Giovanni Reina, even Kellen Acosta, who's decent, very good MLS player. He's honestly probably the only good MLS player on this roster. I think if we can make it to extra time and we get Giovanni Reina on, Brendan Aronson, and we still have all the other creative players on the pitch, I do believe we might be able to make some magic. But I'm gonna go USA on penalties.
Don't know. I don't know if it goes to pens. I think my money would be more.
My heart wants to say 2-1 in extra time, but it's such a tough task. But obviously penalties, anything can happen. So I got to back the boys. We've done great so far, and I don't want the ride. I don't want the journey to end.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Listen, as I said, I always knew. I don't talk bollocks on this channel. I talk facts, and I just knew that USA would get through. Lucas, absolute pleasure tonight, mate. Having you on. Good to see you get through. That's one thing I will say. You deserve it.
We can both have a party.
Yeah,
we can party together, in fact.
That's it, mate. Let's party together, mate. We'll do like an Xmas party come early. Listen, you've been the second best team in the group. Like England have been the best team in the group. England have done the job.
People forget the FIFA rankings. This technically group of death. Yeah.
Because Wales are quite high up, and
Iran were 20, USA were 14 at the start, Wales were like 16, 17, and England was 4 or 5. So I mean, it was a tough group, and I do have to laugh a bit at some of the people talking about Iran, USA, England in general. Let's be honest, the only team we knew that were shit is Wales, and they've shown it all tournament. They are just so bad. But Iran, much respect to Iran, they are a very good side, and the way they play football, they could be in the World Cup. They could be consistently in the World Cup for a long, long time.
Yeah. Before I let you go, have you changed your mind on who you think could win the competition? Because I've seen France. I do like the look of France. Don't get me wrong. I watched Brazil yesterday, and I was like, Brazil, if you frustrate Brazil, they start getting frustrated. And I think, but what they do is they pass it to death.
Yeah, but that's always been Brazil. Brazil are bar their. Actually, not even that. Like they never score a lot of goals. It's just the way. It's just the way like they play, and that's the way like South American sides play. Like they pass the ball a lot. They're very flary.
They play like Man City.
The scoreline to them, I feel like, doesn't matter a whole lot. But obviously, they want to win. But they don't have enough killer instinct for me. The South American countries, like they wanna lull you asleep and then bang you, and then like with England at least they have a plan. They've got the players. It's just all about the tactics and getting it molded together. And then France, I can't believe France. Well, no, they're not a dark horse, but like they got so many players out. If none of their players were hurt, I think France could definitely be clear favorites. But whenever you have Mbappe, and Mbappe's looked incredible. Like the way
even their Real Madrid midfielder, I can't pronounce his name, but the man who's covering for Kante and Pogba.
Oh, Tchouaméni.
He's not a mug.
No, that midfield is very good. And Rabiot is proving why he had links to Man United. He's looked very solid. But let's be honest, when you have a player like Mbappe, it's kind of the same way with Gakpo in Netherlands. When you have players like that, obviously Mbappe way better. But when you just have players like that who are so explosive, and it just feels like every touch they take is so perfect, and they're so fast, and their burst on the ball is that unfair, you always have a chance. Because Mbappe, I'm sure everyone's been watching, Mbappe just goes past people for fun. It takes no effort for him. And when then when he gets past you, he just absolutely leaves you in the dust.
Yeah. Right, I've got to ask you this. First thing, I will get your prediction at the end of who you think's going to win it. Will Croatia get through against Belgium?
Oh, yes. I do think so.
I can't believe how bad Belgium are this year. I really cannot.
I think that win against Canada was huge for us.
Yeah.
Was very huge. And to be honest with you, Croatia has not looked very good, in my opinion. We have looked a bit of a shadow of ourselves, but that last match was very uplifting, and it came at the right time. And the way Belgium are playing, I think we should be able to go through.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. For me, they are one of the most disappointing teams in this competition this year. Belgium. I thought Belgium could have been dark horses to win this, but they look absolutely shocking. I think Morocco are a little dark horse in there.
That group F is going to be interesting tomorrow because Canada did not look bad against Croatia, in my opinion. I would say the first 20, 30 minutes, they definitely looked the better side. They were up for it. And they're obviously not going to want to bow out of the World Cup on an embarrassing loss. No. So they definitely could give Morocco a game. And I told you about that Tejan Buchanan, the guy. He's a bit of a baller for Canada. And that front three of David, Buchanan, and Davies, my God. I don't think I've ever seen a collective of players that fast with that technical ability. They are unreal. And I'm talking just like internationally. They're just that is an unreal front three for a squad like Canada who's just going to sit back and then play the ball forward.
I'm actually gutted, mate, because I've done a fourfold. I did say I think Canada could get out of that group. They were very, very unlucky against Belgium. They did not score a goal, if not get a point out of that game, if not win the game. And against Croatia, I thought they scored it too early, in my opinion. If they would have scored a bit later on and kept it tight, then they might have done some damage.
I think early is nice. The fastest World Cup goal in history.
Yeah.
Of course we conceded.
Right, Lucas. Who's winning it? Give me a team.
It's tough. I think Brazil have the talent and they have the players, but they just, in my opinion, they don't have that killer instinct. But I feel like that will start to ramp up the more they win, and especially when they get to the final. And then France, for who they have at the World Cup, like who they have right now compared to who's all injured, I think they're playing above themselves, in my opinion. Again, don't get me wrong, Rabiot, Tchouaméni, all the others, they're playing very well. And I can only imagine how good they'd be if the players that are hurt and not in the World Cup were playing. But I
the only
think
thing
Brazil,
I will say with France, I just want to say this with me. One thing I will say with France is they don't concede many goals.
Yeah.
Because they're defensively solid as a fucking rock.
And Koundé, world class. Yeah. He's an unreal player. I don't think I've ever seen a center half / right back with his technical ability and with the style that he plays. Like he's not the biggest, but he's strong, a bit powerful, and he's got that panache. But I think the safest bet, which is if I were to bet, I would say Brazil, just because I think the killer instinct will start to develop and the realism will unfold when they potentially get to the final. But France is such a good bet because, like I said, when you have Mbappe, and then obviously Olivier Giroud is just another international gunman.
Yeah,
like it's tough not to think they can do it, but I think Brazil is still the safest bet, not by a lot, just about that much.
Yeah. I reckon, this is what I reckon. I reckon England can get to the final. I really do.
I do as well. It all depends on their road.
Yeah. It depends on how they perform against Senegal, right? For me, if they go out against Senegal and they put 2 or 3 past Senegal and with ease, I will look at it that this team could start building up ahead of steam. Yeah. I think England can do it, but the sideways and back stuff that they did do in the first half isn't really for them. It isn't for them. One thing I will say with Brazil, what I found watching Brazil, if you set up as in like solid and defensive and you hit them on the break, I think they can be got at on the break. I think going forward they're excellent. I think, but on the break they can be got at because their players just bomb forward, and if you can turn the ball over in midfield or just outside your 18-yard box and move the ball fast up the pitch, I think you can get them.
And real quick, sorry, I have to share this because it just brings my heart with joy. Christian Pulisic in the hospital. He is confirmed ready to play on Saturday. He said, let's freaking go. I'll be ready for Saturday. Come on, the boys. The bus.
There you go, mate. He's in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, listen, I reckon England can win it or get to the final, at least. My strong bet, really, if I'm having a bet and I'm advising people to have a bet, would be France. I think France defensively are solid. I think they've absolutely got a world-class player, one of the best players on the planet at the minute, if not the best player on the planet in Mbappe. And if he turns up, then they can beat anyone. They really can. So I do think France are the team who could take out Brazil. Their midfield is light, don't get me wrong. But I do think France can do the damage. One team that I am going to mention, who no one really is mentioning at all, is Portugal. I watched them the other day. They wasn't vintage against these teams, but they're getting the job done. And
I don't care how bad or salty it sounds, but I'm so happy they took that goal away from Ronaldo. I can't believe he claimed that. He is so shameless. Shameless, that guy.
Mate, he said he come off his hair, for fuck's sake. You know, you can't make it up, can you? Listen, I do think Portugal are a good shout. Like, I look at their team, Fernandes, Silva, Ronaldo, Rafael, Lau, who's coming off the bench.
And I think,
very
in
good.
my opinion, I think Portugal, out of all the teams left, have the best mix of work rate, quality, clinical, talent. I think they do have the best in tactics. I think they're if we're talking overall, I do think they are right there. When you put all those together, I think they're right
nothing
there.
Would surprise me. I'm not saying Portugal can win it or will win it. I look at them, but they are a little dark horse for me, massively. Like, no one's really mentioned them.
I mean, they literally have world-class players all around, and as much as I have disdain and dislike for Ronaldo, he is a gunman. He's a gunman.
That is it, mate. Lucas, been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate it.
As always, I always appreciate it. I love talking footy with you and everyone else. It's just... great times. I'm just so elated and excited about the USA. It really does feel so good. Like I said, when Iran's coach came out with that statement and said that we're starting to put the soccer on the back burner, we're starting to look like a football nation, that really warmed my heart and has really started to echo my testament and what I've been preaching and saying about this nation when it comes to football, because if we try hard enough, I think we could become great.
Well, we will see you in the final, Lucas. There you go, mate.
Now, imagine how mad would that be?
Don't, mate.
I don't think it can happen, but seriously, that'd be unbelievable. Could you imagine an England USA quarterfinal? That would be ridiculous.
I know, mate.
I don't think I could do that over again. The 0-0 was already took my heart and everything else, because that was just pride on. As you know, that's pride on the line match. We all know it. But if we had to face off in a quarterfinal, I don't think I could watch it. I'd have to deactivate my Twitter. I'd have to stop talking to you, Mitch, Tom, everyone. I'd have to put everything on mute. I would have to go MIA for a couple months to get over it.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Don't want that again. Listen, absolute pleasure, mate. I want to thank everyone who's been watching. Also, goes a long way, and really do appreciate it. Please do smash a like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. It goes a long way. Really helps me and Lucas and the lads out.
And hit the notification bell.
And hit that notification bell, which I always forget every single time. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. England are through to the last 16 of the competition. USA are also through to the last 16 of the competition. How far will both of us get? We will only find out in the days ahead. But from me to you, have a good Tuesday evening, and I will see you again in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.